Hello and welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin and this is...
I'm Wendy.
And she will be the moderator for tonight. This is our 30th lesson. Did you know that, Wendy?
No. I didn't know that.
You sound really interested in that non-interesting fact. I was thinking, the reason I bring it up is I was thinking maybe we should do something for our 50th or our 100th lesson.
I like it. Definitely.
Like open it up to the public kind of a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we need to wait till 100 or should we do it at 50? Because 50 is going to be in like 3 or 4, 5 weeks.
Maybe 100.
Wait till 100?
Yeah, that sounds bigger.
Well, then we should wait till 1,000.
No.
Why do it
no,
at 100?
I think 100. I think the 100's the one.
The 100 is the one.
Yep.
All right. Okay, well, this is lesson 30. The first 29 were crap, but this is going to be awesome. So here we go. This is, we're talking about major scales tonight. We're talking about, more importantly than major scales, we're talking about all 12 major scales because most intermediate players can play in C and maybe 2 or 3 other keys, but being able to play in any key is really super important, especially when you're playing with vocalists. You're going to run into needing to play in all 12 keys all the time because you'll be playing along in the key of D and they'll go, can you take that up? And you're like, yeah, I know the key of E, not a problem. So you play the same song in the key of E, you're like, I'm awesome. Say, can we take it up here in the key of F? And they go, all right, let's take it up a little bit higher. Take it up to the key of G. They're like, no, that's too far. And then that leaves you, of course, in the key of F sharp. And that stinks for you to be able to say, no, I'm sorry, I can only play in a limited number of keys. And the one that you need tonight for your gig, I can't play in that key because I suck. And you have to hang your head and walk away and let someone awesome come take your place. So all 12 keys, it really, really is important. So tonight we're going to talk about how to get through all 12 keys, as well as a couple little shortcuts to help you out in conquering these. Now, hopefully you're already familiar with what a major scale is, made up of the root, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, that thing, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1 again. If you're not familiar with that, I'd go back to the archives and check out the beginner version of this week's topic, because we cover all that stuff of how to build the major scale. Tonight we're just talking about how to get through all 12 of these things so you can play in any key. So the first thing we need to take a look at on our PDF is geographies. So whenever I'm teaching major scales, I always teach the to view these things as geographies on the piano, as opposed to if you're classically trained or you're coming off of a different instrument, especially one of the horns or something like that, you probably have key signatures memorized. So you know, like, for example, the 1 flat is the key of F, and that is B flat in the key of F. And so, you know, you start off on F, and then you go G, and then you go A, and then you go B. Oh, wait, not B. I mean B flat, because we're in the key of F. And so you have these things memorized, and so they're kind of mechanical, and so you're just taking the right notes and altering them either sharp or flat. For the key of D, you'd know that that's 2 sharps, and that's D, E, not F, but F sharp, and then G, and then A, and then B, and then not C, but C sharp. Instead of doing all that calculation, what I want you to do is, there's only 12 of these things to memorize. I want you to have 12 different pictures in your mind. So the key of C, the picture's obvious. Is just stay on these notes, don't hit any of these, and you're safe. So it's just all these just straight across. The key of D, I want you, instead of thinking of it as a C major scale, only we have to not play any Fs or not play any Cs, I want you to think of it as starting and ending on D with a couple little hills in the middle. On number 3, we've got a little hill there, and then we keep on going up. Right towards the end there, we've got a C sharp in there that provides that extra little hill. When I'm going past C sharp, I don't know that I'm on C sharp. I know that I'm on that second little hill before the end of the scale. I've got D, and then coming down from there. So on your PDF, I showed you, this is the key of D. And then if we go over to here, this is what I'm seeing in my head. In fact, I'm not even seeing all the blue. I'm just seeing that little squiggly line. That squiggly line right there represents the key of D to me. And each scale is going to have its own little squiggly line of hills and valleys that you can follow. Once you start memorizing those, these things are going to go a lot faster, and you're going to be able to play through these with exercises and songs a lot faster, because you're not worrying about, oh, I'm in the key of B, so is D supposed to be sharp or not? No, wait, I think it's flat. No, it is sharp. We're already 4 or 5 notes past where you're thinking about at that point. So there you go. That's the first thing, is taking all of your scales, turning them into geographies on the keyboard so you can play through them. Now, moving on. The circle of fifths. If you haven't seen the circle of fifths before, it is now time you get introduced to the circle of fifths. I have no idea what this thing is or exactly how it's supposed to be used, but I know it keeps coming up over and over and over whatever topic you're talking about. If you go far enough down that road of that topic, you're going to end up back on the circle of fifths. So one of the ways we're going to use the circle of fifths is to find our major keys. Right here on the top of our graph, right at the point that says 0 up there, we've got the key of C. It says 0 because C is the only key with 0 sharps and 0 flats. So it's right at the top of the clock, right there at 0, or at noon, at 12. So at that point, instead of going like a normal clock would go, if I go around that way, that looks wrong to you, huh? I just still don't know the back and forth of this thing.
Yeah, if you go the backwards way to you, then it's the right way on the circle
All right,
for us.
cool. All right. So like a normal clock would go, except that's the opposite for me. Then you'll have all of these over here, and you can follow right along 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, just like you would normally have, except this one goes both directions. So in the other one, the one that's wrong to you and right to me, it's also going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they meet down at the bottom at 6. Let me show you what these things mean. This side over here, this is called the sharp side because every key on that side has at least one sharp in it. How many sharps do each of them have? You just check their position on the clock. So if you go to 1 o'clock on the sharp side, that's G. G has 1 sharp. 2 o'clock is D. D has 2 sharps. Key of A has 3 sharps. The key of E has 4 sharps. The key of B has 5 sharps. And the key of F sharp at the very bottom has 6 sharps. So that's the sharp side. Then we take a look at the flat side, and it's the exact same thing. The key of F has 1 flat. The key of B flat has 2 flats. 3 flats is E flat. 4 flats is A flat. 5 flats is D flat. And down at the very, very bottom, G flat has 6 flats. Now, this is the only one where we really need 2 different keys because the key of G flat has 6 flats. The key of F sharp has 6 sharps. So there's really no difference in playing in 6 sharps or 6 flats. It's kind of the same thing. So some people you run into will play in the key of G flat. Some people play in the key of F sharp. They're the exact same thing. All the rest of them make no sense. For example, we could go, if we wanted to, past this, if we took the flat side all the way around and went 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then turn it into 7 o'clock over there, we could call that, instead of calling it B and playing with 5 sharps, we could call that 7 o'clock on the flat side and play in the key of C flat, which would have a C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and C flat. But there's kind of no point in playing in 7 flats if instead you could play in 5 sharps. You have fewer accidentals that way. So anyway, that is your circle of fifths, and this is how I'm going to recommend that you go through each of your exercises, is taking your exercise through one key and then moving a notch over. If I were you, I would go counterclockwise. That seems to be the most common move. So if you're going to start on C, then go to F. Then from F, go to B flat. From B flat, go to E flat, until you get all the way back around to C. Once you hit C again, you've run through all 12 of your keys, and you are set and ready to move on to the next exercise. Now your MP3 this week, is this thing right here. 4 bars of C, 4 bars of F, 4 bars of B flat, 4 bars of E flat, 4 bars of A flat, and that might seem random, except that it's the exact same thing as we did over here. It's just 4 bars of each of these, starting with C and moving all the way around. So if we listen to that. 2, 3, 4, we're in the key of C, 2, 3, 4, this is 3, this is the 3rd measure, and the 4th measure, and then it's going to switch to the key of F. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1 flat in the key of F, that's B flat, that one right there. Then it does move to the key of B flat, so you can practice your scales in the key of B flat. And after 4 bars, it's going to move to the key of E flat, 3 o'clock on the flat side. It's because it has these 3 flats in there. And then after 4 bars, it's going to move to the key of A flat. So it just goes straight through there, and we're going to talk about some exercises that you can use to get through all 12 of these keys. But that's what your MP3 is going to do. let's check out those exercises down here. These are 4 different exercises. Each line is their own exercise. This first one, if you've ever played any Hanon before, Hanon is a terrible, terrible book that's awesome and that you should definitely practice, but it's just kind of painstaking. This is exercise number 1 out of that book. So it's going to start on whatever one of the key is. All these exercises are written in the key of C. So it's going to start on C, and then it doesn't play a D, but it does play the next one. So you're going from the 1 of the key to the 3 of the key. So this is your first note, then that one, and then the rest of them are just 1 note per finger. So C, E, F, G, A. Once you hit that A, you're going to walk straight back down. And instead of skipping over like you did before, we're going to land that thumb on the next note over on that D. So it's going to go C, E, F, G, A, G, F, E. And then when we land on that next note right there, D, we're going to skip over. So D, F, G, and we're just going to stay inside the key. Then we land on E, and we keep going. Now you'll want to practice this with a metronome or with this track so that you can make sure that consistency, that's probably the most important thing, aside from, of course, playing the right notes, making sure that all of your rhythms are consistent all the way through. These are written as 1/8 notes, but you can practice the same exercise as 16ths at 30 seconds or whatever speed you can play these at. Just make sure they're all the same. So that's exercise number 1. Along with the track, you would get 4 bars of C, and then you'll try the same thing in F. So in F, this is going to look like, we're going to start on F, and then we're going to move not to the next note over, but that one we're going to skip. So 1 and then skip. 1 finger per note. Don't forget you have that B that needs to be flat right there. And in this geography, it's all flat land except we've got this 1 hill right here. So F, the key of F to me is just that and then that. So we go up to that hill, come back down. So I'm just staring at my geography here. I've got flat land with a hill and going through that exact same exercise. This feels the same to me as the key of C, except that my geography, instead of all being flat, has this little hill. But as long as I'm looking at it and I'm acknowledging that hill, just focusing on that hill, then I can go through the exact same exercise. It feels exactly the same. But now I'm playing in the key of F with the exact finger muscle memory that I was using for playing this exercise in the key of C. So anyway, then we'll switch to the key of F, and then it would move on to the key of B flat. Let's see how that goes with the track. 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to switch to the key of F, and then to the key of B flat. So now our geography is, we start on a hill, we've got a little dip up to a hill, and then a big dip right there. And so we would play the key of B flat like that. We got these hills on the side with one a little bit to the left of the middle. And it's going to be the exact same feel, only you just got to take into consideration those 2 hills and keep your eyes on those 2 hills so that as you go through that same feel, you're following the same geography that you've memorized for that particular scale. So that's exercise number 1. Number 2 is going to go like this. It's just line, 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 which means that there's a note in between each of them. We're starting on the 1 for all these exercises, the 1 of the key. So we're in C. We're going to go just skip a note, skip a note, skip a note, line, 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 and then hit that top one again and come back down. Then we just shove the whole thing up 1 note, and then up 1, then up 1. Then we're going to switch to the key of F when our track moves to the key of F. This same thing, we've got this geography right here that says we need this mountain in the middle. So we just follow that through. Then the key of B flat, same thing. And the key of E flat, and so on and so forth. Let's try that with the track. So the key of C, F. Keeping in mind this hill right here. Key of B flat. We got this hill right here. Key of E flat. And so on all the way through all 12 of them. Exercise number 3. This one's actually a little bit of fun here. I almost said a lot of fun. I'll go with a lot of fun. This one's a lot of fun for an exercise. Just to play for fun, it's misery. But it's just 3 notes at a time. So you're just playing 1, 2, 3, and then scooting the whole thing over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then switching over here. I've got them written as triplets. So if we're at this pace right here, it would be triple, let triple, let triple, let triple, let triple. And then we switch keys to the next one. The reason I've got them written as triplets is because if you do them as eighth notes, then you've got the thumb accent on an off beat every other time, so it'll land on like the 1 and then the and of 2. And then, so every other time it's going to switch back and forth. So try playing these as triplets. Since there's 3 notes there, cram them all into one beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet, triplet. Let's try that with a track. F. B flat, you get the idea. You don't need to watch me practice. But that's exercise number 3, and all of these are reversible. So that Hanon one where we've got the start and then skip, and then start, skip. If you get up to playing these as 16th notes instead of 8th notes like we were playing them, then you'll get a lot farther in the scale, and eventually you'll need to turn around and come back the other direction. So we're going to play note and then skip, and then come back up and note, skip, and that's how you work your way back down. And then same thing for this exercise here. And then, so we're just doubling the bottom instead of doubling the top, and then going back in the other direction. All right, last one we have here before we get to our question and answer time. This one is it's kind of the same concept as the groups of 3, except this is just skipping over that 1 in the middle. So it's just here, here, and then playing those 2, and then those 2, and then those 2, working your way up. Once you get to the top, come back down. Let's try it with a track. Here we go. Key of F, key of B flat, and you might want to keep the PDF here so you can see what the next key is going to be. So we're on E flat. After E flat's going to be A flat. This is significantly harder if you're trying to talk and make any sense at all while you're doing it. After A flat, it's going to be D flat. And so on and so forth, all the way through all of the keys. It is now time to send in your questions for our question and answer time by writing your name and your question in the box below this video. And right now we're going to move over to the voicing of the day. I want to show you this for, since we're talking about, diatonic shapes and patterns and stuff and staying inside the key, I want to show you whenever we get to our 5 chord. So in the key of C, that's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every other note starting on 5. And this is actually one of the chords that you'll be playing as you work through this pattern. This is the 2 chord. This is the 3 chord. 4. Once we get to the 5 chord, whenever you've got a 5 chord at the end of the song and it's moving to a 1, which is almost every song, where you've got this 5 chord that's moving to a 1 at some point in the song, at least if it's not at the very end. One option is we've got a suspended chord, which is where we take that 3 and we move it to the 4. But we also have suspended 2 chords, which look like that. So in the suspended 4, we've got the 1, the 3, and the 5 of the chord. We've taken that 3 up a half step. In the suspended 2, we've got the 1, now the 4, and the 5. We've got the 2 over here. So this is sus2, this is sus4, and then you can actually use both of these together. So we can use the 4 and the 2 together to really suspend it, or to go back and forth if you want to suspend it for even longer before you get to finally resolving it to that 5 chord and moving it to the 1. So let me show you what that would sound like. We've got a 1 chord, a 4 chord, a 5 chord, and then a 1 chord. So we just got 1, 4, 5, 1. I'm going to suspend that 5 with a regular old suspended 4. So we've got 1, 4, 4 suspended, or in root position it would look like this before we go back to the 1. So 1, 4, 5 suspended, resolved, and back to the 1. Here's our suspended 2. And then here it is using both of them. So it just kind of prolongs that suspension a little bit if you go to the 4 and then the 2 and back and forth before you finally land on that 3. It's now time for questions and answers, hopefully. At least questions, but maybe not answers. We'll see. What do we got?
Anne wants to know if you have any exercise books you recommend. Should we get Hannon or?
Yeah, you should get Hannon. Honestly, the exercises don't matter as much as the fact that you keep them all consistent and that you run them through all of your keys. So any exercise book that is absolutely wonderful is going to be absolutely useless if you don't take it through all of your keys and practice it with a metronome or some kind of a track that's going to keep you on pace. And if you don't have some kind of a goal that you want to be at, 100 beats per minute and then reaching 110 beats per minute and 120 beats per minute, the goals and the consistency is way more important. But if you want to go out and buy Hannon, it's going to look like that. And it's going to hurt you a lot. But that's great. There's another one that my friend Diane gave me. This has got some really good exercises in it too. The Piano Handbook by Carl Humphreys. I've got a ton of books down here. Actually, some of them, like this one, is the Omni book, which is actually for saxophonists. But taking that through different keys is crazy, crazy hard and kind of a lot of fun. So again, whatever exercises you have, even if they're not piano exercises, just trying to get them through all of the keys and paying attention to what you're doing, trying to reach that next level, that next speed. That's going to be the important thing. The books really don't matter much at all. I would say the better exercises are going to be the ones that have consistent rhythms. So the nice thing about Hannon is it's all 16th notes or 32nd notes all the way through the entire exercise. So you don't have to worry about rhythms on top of notes and finger exercises and stuff like that. So consistent rhythms, at least to start out with, is going to be very helpful, I think.
All right, one more from Dan. Why is it called the circle of fifths?
Oh, because it's, well, the circle part, hopefully, if you want to go to the PDF here, that should be self-evident. So I'm guessing he's asking about the fifths part.
That'd be my guess.
The distance, yeah, let's do it. The distance from C to G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps. That is called a perfect fifth. So when we're going from C to G, that's a fifth. And then from G to the next one over, which is D, it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps. So each interval that you see on here is a fifth. Now, going from C to F is a fifth. If we go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps, there's 7 half steps between these two notes. However, this is also sometimes called the circle of fourths because C to F obviously is only 7 half steps, right? And it couldn't be any more, it couldn't be any less. Any less, it's going to be up here. Any more, it's going to be down here. So C to F is 7 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, every single time, unless you go this direction. C to F in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half steps instead of 7 half steps. So C to F depends on which C and which F you're going to. It could either be called a fourth, which is the distance of 5 half steps, or it could be considered a fifth, which is the distance of 7 half steps. So sometimes called the circle of fourths, sometimes called the circle of fifths. I've heard it more the circle of fifths than the circle of fourths. And it's a circle.
Makes sense.
Cool. Any others?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, for myself and my lovely assistant and wife, Wendy, we will see you next time. Thanks.